Moments with God, a time of reflection for every day.
June 28th. A current seal. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. Exodus 28:11.
From Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt, seals were used to engrave letters on clay, papyrus, or tablets. They were made of stone or metal and were used to authenticate documents and seal tombs. Over time, they became part of royal rings to imprint their symbols and public office on documents. It was precisely in Rome that the signet ring was perfected, which was used by businessmen and government officials. The seal's function was to validate the written document, to show that it was authentic, original, and came directly from the person to whom it was written. It's worth remembering that ancient seals weren't as specific as those of today, as they barely had any letters and were mostly carved symbols that indicated the owner of the seal. For example, there is a story of an evil queen named Jezebel, who wanted to kill a citizen named Naboth, but since she didn't have the authority to do so, she drew up a document and then affixed the seal of her husband, the king, and sent the document to the town elders. Upon seeing the king's seal, they recognized that it came from the highest authority and obeyed the order. In other words, the seal gave the authority of the owner of the seal, but it could only be recognized by those who knew the owner. With these same characteristics, God has placed a seal that must be recognized by his followers, and his order obeyed. Such a seal indicates who God is, as well as his dominion and reign. This seal is not recognized by those who do not know God, but by those who seek the Lord with a sincere heart. His seal, when recognized, and the explicit order in the document obeyed, creates a bond between God and his people. Of the 10 commandments expressed in the law, only number 4 indicates who God is. It literally says, "For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth." That is, this commandment indicates that God is the Creator. No other commandment makes such a statement. Being the Creator, he is the owner of everything. Therefore, he has the right to rule as he pleases. That is, this commandment gives authenticity to all the others, since the one who gives the order is the Creator, whose dominion is in heaven and earth. But if Christians subtly refuse number 4 of the 10 commandments, then they take away the authenticity of God's law. Have you ever wondered why this commandment isn't part of the Catholic Catechism? Why has the commandment to keep the Sabbath day of rest been altered in those commandments? Who dared to commit such a gross usurpation? Why do Christians continue to claim that the Sabbath of the 4th commandment was for the Jewish people of the Old Testament? Does the Bible support such a claim? Of course not. The Sabbath must continue to be kept, and it is only recognized by those who see the seal of God within it. Of the 10 commandments, only the 4th bears the seal of the great lawgiver, Creator of heaven and earth. Those who obey his commandments assume his name, and all the blessings implied therein belong to them. Amen.
Thank you for listening to this audio. We invite you to share with your contacts and visit the website BibleWell.com.